For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure with junior tight end Tyler Petite. So after looking at the film, how would you evaluate Saturday's game?
I mean, I think overall it was a really tough game. I thought as a tight end unit we played extremely well. Going into that game, we knew how athletic they were. We knew what kind of team they were going to be, and the fact of the matter is I think we just didn't execute enough as an offense. I think we just had too many errors, and I mean, I will say, like I said before, I mean, Nico had a really tough time with 95. I mean, just their front seven and everyone in the box, I mean, they were just studs. So coming out, I'm just really glad that we got a win, but we definitely have a lot to work on this week.
Yeah, Tom Herman has a physical team. What were you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just that. You saw guys just flying around, and the way that their defense is. I mean, we went into it knowing that they were going to pressure at least probably 75% of the time, and they ended up, I want to say, like close to 90 or 95% pressure. And it's just one of those things that you can really only study on tape. And you know, when you execute it as well as they do, I mean, it's a gap defense. They're just hitting their gaps, and if a guy's out of their gap, then that's when touchdowns break. That's kind of how it works. And I think that's kind of what happened in that first Maryland game, and that's kind of what we saw. But, I mean, they just played a spectacular game against us. I mean, hit every single gap, and, I mean, guys were just flying around. So
when you have when the offense has a game like you did against Stanford and then you have a game like you did against Texas, is that more of a switch in defenses, or is that you guys just not making plays that you know you can?
I think it's both, honestly. Stanford has an extremely different defense than what we were going up against. But at the same time, there were plenty of plays that we needed to make. I mean, I didn't make a play on a fourth down that I really should have made. I mean, we had 4th and goal. I mean, if you really look back, there were a few plays that probably could have changed the game and made it to where it was 14-0 potentially. But you know what? Their defense just executed and we didn't, and that's just what we're getting better at this week.
Yeah, so going forward, how do you fix those errors? Do you just keep doing what you're doing and put your head down, or is it like, do you change anything?
You just got to study the tape, and you just have to run through the reps. And I think everyone kind of has a new heightened sense of urgency now. We know what can happen if you know, if we get pressure like that. And I think now that we've seen it happen, especially with athletes like those, we know that we have it on tape. We know that we can go back and look at it, and we just have to execute a lot better. And but I think everyone's really excited for this week, because having that game coming off of a victory, you know, kind of having that swing and being able to head into Cal Week with that, I think it's just going to make everyone more motivated.
Yeah, you're a battered team though. You're injured. I heard Helton kind of talking to the team about injuries. What did he say to you guys after practice today?
I mean, the bottom line is you never know when your turn's going to come. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, you can even see it in our tight end room with Daniel.
Yeah.
And Daniel's a great player, and last year, you know, was his first year being able to play. And early on in the year, didn't get as many snaps, and then at the end of the year, you saw he was kind of the go-to guy. And that's pretty much what he was saying. I mean, you look at Christian Rector, a guy that, you know, was sort of rotating in, not getting a ton of reps, and then ends up coming in and being the biggest player on the defense for us. And then he was also talking about Nico coming in, guy on a developmental team, and then 3 centers go down, and we have to look to him, and he leads us in the offensive line. I mean, you just have to prepare like you're going to start every single game. And it's really hard to not be able to do that, not being able to actually be playing. But I mean, he's just talking about everyone doing a really great job.
Mm-hmm. You've been starting every game. How does that feel? How have you been dealing with that leadership role in those extra reps?
It's great. I mean, I've really enjoyed myself. You know, I think being able to watch the film and kind of have these 3 games under my belt, I mean, I've been really pleased with the way I've been playing. Obviously, there's been a few plays here and there that I've been really upset with, but I mean, that's just kind of the way the game happens. And, you know, I love being able to use my knowledge that I've gained through my 2 and whatever years here to be able to coach these young guys and be able to help lead them into the next stages of their lives. And, I mean, it's just a really great honor to have, and I'm just excited to get Daniel back, because, you know, he's the second half of that right there. And just having us 2 being able to mentor these young guys is really big, and it's been a really fun journey.
In your opinion, how much does the tight end position affect the flow of the offense as a whole? I feel like when you guys don't get it in a rhythm, then the whole offense kind of stutters a little bit.
I mean, I think it's huge, and of course I'm a little biased, but I mean, what Coach Bax tells us is, there's no position like the tight end position. And it's not meant to be like, oh, we're the greatest position on the field. But, I mean, if you have a tight end that can block, then there's no position like you. But if you have a tight end that can't do that and, be in both aspects of the game, then there's a receiver that can replace you. And so being able to have a guy that's athletic enough to stretch the field while also having him be able to be in a three-point stance and a defense not know if it's going to be a run or pass, like that is huge, because it's a huge question mark on what the offense is going to do. So I think when we get in a good rhythm, it helps out everybody. I mean, it helps out the receivers, it helps out the O-line. I mean, and obviously we don't work without them either, but it's just really necessary to have us working.
Mm-hmm. You've been home for 3 games. How much of a difference is it to go away, or does it play a role at all?
It definitely does. I think your first time going away, it's the biggest. I mean, now that I've kind of been everywhere, minus like Oregon State and Washington State, it's just kind of like taking another vacation to like this spot that I've been there before, but and I'm from the Bay Area originally. I live 15 minutes from Berkeley, so it's kind of going home for me again. But I mean, it's exciting. I think the biggest thing for us, and something that I really like, is being able to go into someone's own house and just kind of quiet them. That's one of the coolest things for me. I mean, it's great to get the USC chants going in the Coliseum, but going into a place like Washington last year and really playing the best that we could play and have everything firing on all cylinders, and then at the end of the game you could hear our fans more than their fans. I mean, it's an unbelievable feeling. So we're just trying to do that.
What's that homecoming going to be like for you? Do you have family coming out to the game, or what?
Yeah, I mean, my parents are going out to the game, and Sam's parents are actually staying at my house. And then, I mean, I don't know exactly who's going to be going, but I know like a bunch of people from my area will be going. There'll probably be people that I'll see that I went to high school with and just didn't really get into contact with. So it's just always fun to be able to go back home and kind of rep my area and be able to show people back home like what I've been doing and how hard I've been working.
Well, good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
With Tyler Petite, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.